Hi, welcome to your lesson 5-6a video on parallel lines. Your I can statement is I can write an equation of a line that is parallel to a given line. Parallel lines have the same steepness, therefore they have the same slope. So let's find the lines of the two slopes in the picture. Starting with the bottom one, if we put some dots on here, coordinate points, we can pick any slope or any 2 points to find the slope. So our rise is 1 and our run is 2. That means our slope is 1/2. And these lines look like they are parallel, but we can check that by finding the slope of this top line. Again, plotting some points and then finding the slope. Our rise is 1. Our run is 2, so our slope is 1/2. Because the slopes are the same, they are parallel lines. Graph a new line that is parallel to the given line and goes through the point -2, -2. So the first thing we're going to start with is our original red line, which is this line here in the problem, and we need to write the equation of that line first. And we're going to write that in slope-intercept form. So we need to find our rise, which is 2, and our run, which is 1. So our slope is 2/1, which is 2. So y equals 2x. And then our y-intercept is down here at -4, so -4. Now we need to find the equation of our new line. In order to do that, we need to recognize that parallel lines have the same slope, meaning my equation is going to be y equals 2x, and then all I have to do is find the b term. It also goes through the point -2, -2, so I can plot that. At this point, I have two options. Option number 1, I can use that slope of up 2/1 and use that to plot points and make a line. And from there, I will find my y-intercept, okay? Or I can use my equation, y equals mx plus b, to plug in what I know and use x and y here. So y is -2, x is also -2 to solve this problem. 2 times -2 is -4 plus b equals -2. Add 4 on both sides and you get 2 equals b. So either way, you can see that you should have +2 for the b part of your new equation. Similar problem here, graph a new line that is parallel to the given line and goes through the point 2, -3. So we're going to start with the equation of the first line, which is the one we are given. Notice right away that it's negative, so we want to have a negative sign when we are writing our slope. And then plotting points here, and then finding the rise over the run. I can see that it's going up 1/1 or down 1/1. So my slope is -1/1, which is just -1. And then x, and then we need our plus b, which is our y-intercept of -3. Now that I have that, I can find my new line going through the point 2, -3. Which would be right here. And then again, you have two choices. You can use your slope of -1 to plot points and find your y-intercept. Or you can use y equals mx plus b to plug in for x and y and solve the equation. So y is -3. Our slope is the same because they're parallel, so -1 times x, which is 2, and then plus b, will also give you the exact same answer, that b is -1. So my equation for my new line, y equals -1x, again having the same slope, and then a new y-intercept, which you can graph or solve algebraically. All right, problem number 1. Line passes through the point -3, -1, and is parallel to the graph of y equals 2x plus 3. What equation represents the new line in slope-intercept form? So the first thing we're going to do is start with our equation, y equals 2x plus 3. And we're going to graph that first. So y-intercept is 3. And then our slope is 2, or 2 over 1. So we're going up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Okay, continuing on, we'll have a line that looks like this. Okay, and then we want a parallel line. That means it's going to be the same slope. So for our new line, we're going to use y equals mx plus b. We want it in slope-intercept form. Okay, we know our slope has to match because it's parallel. So y equals 2x plus b. And then we're going to plug in. And we have two options here. You could plug in your x and your y, just like I showed you in the other examples, or you can use point slope form since we have a point and the slope. And then, so that's what I'm going to actually use for this problem. So y, so x and y is -1, that becomes a big plus, equals our slope of 2, and then x minus -3, which becomes also a plus. So here's my point slope form, and then I can just solve rewriting this by distributing and combining like terms to get my answer in slope-intercept form. And then I can graph this one also. Graphing is a good way to just check to make sure that you actually did the algebra correctly. So a 5 y-intercept, and then up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Notice that they are parallel lines, which is exactly what we wanted. Problem number 2. A line passes through the point 12, 5 and is parallel to the graph of y equals 2/3 x minus 1. Write the equation, or what equation represents the new line in slope-intercept form. Okay, so first thing, recognizing this is our slope. So when we're writing in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, we're going to have that same slope of 2/3. Okay, so we're almost halfway done with our problem. Now, because I have a point and I know it's parallel, so I have my slope, I can plug in, and you can use either point slope form or slope-intercept. I'm going to show point slope again. So this is my x and this is my y. So y minus 5 equals my slope, which is matching 2/3 x minus 12. And then I can solve this. So 2/3 x, distributing here. And then 2/3 times -12, a positive times a negative is a negative. 2/3 of 12 is 8. And then add 5 on both sides. You get y equals 2/3 x minus 3. And that is your equation in slope-intercept form. Now, notice there isn't a graph here, so when you're not given a graph, you're going to have to use the algebra. But here you can see what the graph would look like. Okay, here was my original line. Here's my new line with a y-intercept of -3, and it does cross through the point 12, 5. Problem number 3. A line passes through the point -2, -3, and is parallel to the graph of x plus 2y equals 4. Now in this problem, you're going to notice that we're starting in standard form. Standard form doesn't help us too much, so we need to change it. And our best bet is to change it into slope-intercept form because as you can see, that's what we are going to want in the end anyways. So let's go ahead and do that right away. So x plus 2y equals 4. We're going to get it y by itself by subtracting x. We have 2y equals 4 minus x. Divide both sides by 2, and we get y equals, and this part you gotta be careful of, make sure you're doing your math right. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then negative, there's a 1 there, x divided by 2 is negative 1/2 x. And then you'll just want to rewrite that so it's in true slope-intercept form. It's a negative 1/2 x, and then a positive 2. So there's our original equation, and we can graph that. So y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. Notice it's a negative line, and then down 1 over 2. You can reverse it, up 1 over 2, and so on. Okay, so there's our original line. And then we need to write the new line in slope-intercept form. So we're going to use that slope, that's the important part, is negative 1/2. And because we want slope-intercept form in the end, we can use y equals mx plus b. We can plug in our slope right away, which is negative 1/2. And then we can use either point slope or slope-intercept. I'm going to use slope-intercept because that's the end goal anyways. So plug in right away. Here's your x and here's your y. Actually, I'm going to change colors here so you can see it a little better. So x and y here. So y is negative 3 equals negative 1/2. And then x is negative 2. And we are solving for b. So negative 1/2 times negative 2 gives me a positive 1 plus b equals negative 3. Subtract 1 on both sides and you get negative 4 equals b. That means our equation should be y equals, using that same slope parallel, so negative 1/2 x, and then our plus b is minus 4. So here would be our new equation. And then just checking on our graph to make sure we've done this correctly. So negative 4 for y-intercept. And then a slope of negative 1/2. And as you can see, we are getting a parallel line. In summary, parallel lines have the same slope, so very important to remember that. Your homework is lesson 5-6A, and just a reminder that the chapter 5 test is coming up very soon.